6, it's Afternoon Karak with Aisha Al-Mazmi and Mikhail Atiyah.
On Pulse 95.
Over the weekend, we got to see DC Fandome. That is one of the biggest events I've been looking forward to throughout this entire summer season. Since the moment it was announced, and there were so many reveals, there were some things that I did not really care about that felt like kind of fillers, such as Wonder Woman, because we've heard enough about it. We're just anticipating
We got a
the
good
movie.
glimpse of Cheetah, the antagonist.
Yeah,
You know.
I feel like it's just small things here and there just to keep us going until the movie comes out because, it is overdue.
Yes.
However,
for now, the announcements that really matter.
of course, Batman. Matt Reeves is Batman. Suicide Squad. We finally got the roster of who's gonna be who. And that was honestly, even though I didn't even know 3/4 of them, I was just super excited. We're gonna be talking about that, and also the games, Aquaman, and much, much more. Also Sandman. Let's start off with Batman. How do you feel about that?
I was really surprised because all throughout the year we were talking about how the film production went to a complete halt.
Yeah.
And I felt like, would a trailer have enough scenes from the production to be able to show us something?
Yeah.
They showed a lot. They showcased Robert Pattinson's character. They showed his uniform.
Yeah.
And apparently it's going to be set not in year 1 of Batman, year 2
Because
of Batman.
the series is going to be in year 1, because we've heard that there's going to be
The HBO series.
The HBO series that is based in Gotham, but it's going to be about the Gotham Force, the Gotham PD, and not Batman himself. So this is very interesting that this is canonical and they're happening within the same universe.
Yes, and what I also like is already it sets the tone for the entire film. It's very dark, it's very noir. We get little hints of who are the 2 biggest villains, which is the Riddler.
Yep.
And I really like this type of Riddler because when I think of Riddler, I always think of Jim Carrey's Riddler, and he was always too silly and you can never really take him seriously. But it seems like this one works a lot better. And we also get a glimpse of the Penguin as well.
God, did you even recognize that it was Colin Farrell? Because I did not at all.
It was like just split seconds. They wouldn't even show you too much of it, But I think what I really took from this is Robert Pattinson as the Batman.
Yes, he looked fantastic, even though a lot of people had doubt. But everywhere is like Pattinson is the Batman of the upcoming decade. He looks fantastic. And what Matt Reeves said about the 2 villains, the Riddler especially, is that even he's just slowly getting to know himself as well. He's setting the tone of what the Riddler is going to be. So I really like that. It's all about new things. Usually when it comes to Batman, we see him already established. It's the opposite of other superheroes. Other superheroes, we get to see how they become who they are. But Batman, it's never ever been like, oh, how did Batman become Batman?
Exactly.
And I love this.
There's a really great scene where he goes and attacks a henchman and he goes all out and doesn't stop. And usually you think Batman is a person who does not kill, but you see this type of Batman who shows no restraint.
Yeah.
And it talks a lot about his character development. This is still a Batman who's struggling to follow a certain code, but at the same time be vengeful against all of those who have done him wrong,
Let's go to Gotham Knights, which also involves Batman. However, he has died, and he basically sent out a video to his Bat family, telling them that if you see this video, then I am dead. And they basically take on the mantle that this is what they have to do. And I love it because I love the Bat family very much, and I just love anyone who puts a spotlight on them. I'm down for it.
It's a really refreshing take, especially when we've already had so many Arkham games, the Arkham Asylum, City, Arkham Knight, and it's still a sequel to those Arkham series that people have known and loved.
Yeah.
So already, right from the get-go, it's like Batman, the iconic character, is dead, and you're going to be playing as Batgirl, Robin, Red Hood, and Nightwing.
Yeah.
And basically trying to uncover a new great mystery in Gotham, the Court of Owls.
Yes.
And I love conspiracies like this.
The Court of Owls was a well-known group in the comics, so to see them again getting within the spotlight is very exciting. All these new things. This is what DC is all about. They bring in some new stuff, some refreshing stuff. DCEU aside, because we also know that Matt Reeves said that his Batman is not canonical with the DCEU.
Standalone.
It's a standalone, and that also the Joker does not exist there either. We're going to be taking a short break, but the DC fandom talk continues, so stay tuned.
Pulse 95.
Texas 4215 into Salat Urdu. What is your favorite moment from the DC fandom? There were some really great announcements, everything from the Batman movie to the games, and now we're going to be moving on to Suicide Squad.
That was my favorite part, especially when the trailer, whatever you want to call it, the teaser of the whole roster is just goosebumps. I just love when they put together a character and just show them one after the other. I know that I'm gonna say that like X-Men was the first to do that. That kind of puts a big group and puts one after the other. So seeing it also in DC is also exciting because the more the merrier.
Yeah.
Who's your favorite?
Already, right from the get-go, Idris Elba's Bloodsport and John Cena's Peacemaker. Like, I'm like, whoa, what is John Cena doing in a movie like this?
Remember how everybody was trying to figure out what Idris Elba's going to be, because everybody thought that he's going to be taking on the role. Was it Will Smith? Who was playing? What's his name?
Bloodshot.
Who was taking?
Or was it Deadshot?
Deadshot, not
Yes.
Bloodshot. Deadshot. What's his name? It was Will Smith.
It was Will Smith.
It's what everybody thought that we're probably going to be reprising that role or taking over that role. But I like the fact that he's introducing new characters.
There's a lot of characters I've never even seen before.
My favorite one has to be Javelin. I'll tell you why.
Okay.
Because in the DC fan wiki page, it says the man who would become the Javelin was an Olympic athlete who, for unknown reasons, became a criminal. And I respect that. I respect that.
Hopefully we get a glimpse, sort of like a introduction to each of their backstories. The one that actually intrigues me a lot is the Polka Dot Man. What's that
Really?
about?
I mean, apparently his polka dots can turn into different and various weapons, which is also super cool. It's a very handy sort of superpower to have. Another favorite is King Shark. He's just a shark who wants to eat people. And again, I respect that as well. Like I said, there were so many of them, and even though, again, they kind of felt, what are their powers? It's very vague. And it makes you wonder, how can James Gunn fit all these people?
Yes.
Will they have enough screen time? Are they going to have like one core Suicide Squad? Is it going to be like bigger? What's going on with that? And what I love about it is that even though he's kind of setting himself apart from the previous Suicide Squad, he called it the Suicide Squad. That's the biggest difference between them both.
That's a bold statement right there. As if he's saying, like, listen, guys, maybe just clean your mouth from the terrible movie that was the original Suicide Squad that came a few years back. But I'll be honest, I haven't seen a trailer or anything, just the teaser alone and the character introductions. This alone actually gets me more excited than when I saw the trailer for the original Suicide Squad.
Yeah, true. Very, very much.
And let's say maybe there's a few of the characters you don't like. I feel like there's enough that you might eventually like one or two of them.
Yes, I mean, Peter Capaldi, Pete Davidson, Nathan Fillion. There's a lot of great big names there. Let's move on to the Snyder Cut. Did you watch the trailer?
Yes, I have.
How did you feel about that?
Oh, man. I actually am super stoked for it because just from playing the Hallelujah, they're playing a different cover of it.
Yeah.
And we saw some different scenes, some scenes I've never seen with Flash. We also finally get a glimpse of Darkseid himself.
Yeah.
And there's different battle sequences that I've never seen in the original film as well. And from what I understand is that the Zack Snyder cut for this one is going to be a 4-part series. This is going to be a 4-hour-long film that really will not cut anything away that you may find very important or you feel like you missed out on from the Justice League that came back from years back.
What about Black Adam? I think the thing that just threw me off completely was Noah Centineo, who is well known for his series, or at least movie series on Netflix, which is a romantic comedy.
Yeah.
He is basically jumping into the pool of superheroes and action movies, and it makes me wonder, is he prepared to take on that role? And I also like the fact that The Rock did announce that Hawkman, Dr. Fate, and Cyclone will also be part of Black Adam, which is slated to come out in December 22 on 2021.
Oh my God. I tell you, man, this DC fandom had so many crazy announcements. And one more we'll just talk about is the Suicide Squad game that's being worked by Rocksteady. We got a full 4-minute cinematic trailer, and just from the premise alone, it seems really, really cool. So what's happening is the Justice League are brainwashed, and it's up to the Suicide Squad, the Harley Quinn, Boomerang, Deadshot, and Shark King to fight against the Justice League. And there was a scene where Superman, he's like the evil version of Superman. He's just, you could tell there's something up with him. And there's a scene where Boomerang throws a weapon at him and it does nothing. And it was so funny because it's how are they gonna really tackle this? How are you gonna take a bunch of vigilantes such as the Suicide Squad to go against superheroes like Superman and probably Green Lantern and Wonder Woman? So Anna, definitely, I'm excited for this. It's coming out in next generation consoles on the 2022.
And finally, we've got Sandman. Now, Sandman is one of DC's properties and is quite underrated. It's a fantastic comic. Neil Gaiman himself said that the Netflix show is on the roll. They're working on it. It's in production. However, due to COVID-19 and the pandemic, it's lately is on hold. And this is it for DC Fandom. Guys, what was your favorite part? Text us 42158 which is a lot, or slide into our DMs at Pulse 95 Radio on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. We're going to be taking a short break, and we'll be talking about a potential rumor that I hope is true. So stay tuned for that.
Speculation, gossip, or hoax. Rumor has it
that there's going to be a Nintendo Direct scheduled for the 28th of August. There is literally no news except for one person. His name is Jeff Grubb from GameSpeed, and he says that Nintendo has something in the works for this coming week. And we don't even know if it's a full-on Nintendo Direct, if it's a mini Direct, or a partner showcase. We have no idea.
Well, I'd like to think that the rumor itself might not be completely valid, because do you think it's a bit...
Why would you do that to me?
I'm sorry.
Please, let me hold on to something.
I want you to be hopeful. I want you to be excited for another Nintendo Direct. But think of the fact that I think in the span of this month alone, we've had the Nintendo Direct Mini, and then we had the Nintendo Indie World Showcase.
Indie World is very separate. They've kind of started this a while back, so I wouldn't count Indie World as a proper showcase.
All of it in 1 month, especially another Nintendo Direct.
Yes, I can somewhat believe it, simply because, just like you said, we haven't gotten anything except for the mini Direct, which was around not even 10 minutes. It was 8 minutes outside of Japan because they took out one game for some reason. And some people did not find it fulfilling enough. What I believe is that the reason why we didn't have at least 2 or 3, which is what we usually would have gotten by now, is because Nintendo was kind of saving everything up because of the pandemic. They probably haven't been doing much across. There hasn't been so much updates. So they're like, let's wait until the very end when we've got enough updates, combine them all, and then talk about it in August. There has been a maintenance thing that they're doing, and then on the Nintendo consoles, I believe, or there's basically some maintenance things happening, and people in the comments are like, are you saying we're going to be getting a Direct very soon? And everybody's like, guys.
Because Nintendo does this thing where once they announce something, it gets released the second it gets announced.
Exactly. Some games do that. So everybody's like, are you telling us, is this a hint? And people are saying, guys, try your best not to put up your hopes. Just because there's going to be maintenance doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to get any releases. Some people also believe that this might be an announcement for a new Smash character, because again, it's been a while since another one was announced. Fingers crossed. August 28th, which is Friday. Please, God, we just need one Nintendo Direct.
4 days from now and 6 days from now until I acquire myself.
7 days.
7 days.
Yeah, 31 days in August.
All right. Nobody's counting, but
Except for me, for a couple of weeks. Will Mikhail get the Nintendo Switch like he promised, or will he let the entire people of Sharjah and all our listeners in the UAE and across the world and the galaxy,
wow, the
will
pressure.
you let them down? Stay tuned to find out in the upcoming days. We're going to be taking a short break. Then coming up next, we're going to have our very own Umar Ad-Duri giving us his 2 cents on a topic about sports and entertainment. So stay tuned.
It's almost 5 p.m.
That was Afternoon Karak.
For dessert,
Aisha and Mikhail suggest...
We never like to leave you empty-handed, so here is a suggestion from Mikhail, and I think it couldn't come at a more appropriate time, especially for me. I'm going to get to why, but Mikhail.
All right, so here's my suggestion, and this one comes from the fact that I'm trying to familiarize myself with the kitchen.
Yeah.
Its equipment, its just ways of being able to cook more efficiently,
Yeah.
being able to cut more efficiently. And I'll be honest, I'm 24 years old, and I've just come to learn how to sharpen your knives. And this is my suggestion to you guys, is get your hands on a whetstone if you really want to make sure that you have knives that last for a very long time and cut very well. Because for a while, I've come to realize that I've been using knives that have slowly become dull.
Yeah.
And it's affected the way I cut anything, especially when it comes to meat. So after watching a few YouTube videos, as well as binging with Bobich, I've just come to realize, I really need to start sharpening my knives again.
Totally. That's a very important thing that we often overlook. And another thing that is I'm just going to add to it is also get really good knives, guys. Do not get those plasticky ones.
From the 2 dirham shop.
From the 2 dirham shop. No, get really good knives. And this is why I'm saying that it coincides with my own personal struggles, because I realized that I don't know how to cut properly. And then I've noticed that it wasn't really my fault. It was the knife's fault. And that I don't have proper knives. And that, again, some of them need sharpening. So, guys, Here's my addition to Mikhail's suggestion. Buy proper knives. That's the first thing. And then buy a whetstone. If you don't know how to maintain it or don't know what to do exactly what Mikhail did.
Yes.
Go on YouTube. Check out. There's tons and tons of videos. And actually, it was last week that I found out that I'm pretty sure you've seen like this kind of rod thing that a lot of people have in their kitchens.
Yeah.
They use to sharpen their knife. Apparently, you do not use this to sharpen your knife. That is actually wrong. So there's a lot of maintenance when it comes to knives that we don't usually know about. So this is your opportunity to learn all about them. And with that, we end our hour. We leave the desk for Yella Home, Anna Schofield, Big Hass. The fun continues. The craziness continues. Only here on Pulse 95.
Pulse 95. You're listening to Pulse 95. Pulse 95.
It's Pulse 95.